O Block Louie, he passed away earlier this morning. He passed away, and he passed away from like what David Barksdale passed away from.
On November 6, 2020, a violent altercation broke out outside the Monaco Hookah Bar in Atlanta, involving two rival groups in the Chicago drill rap scene. King Von, a well-known rapper, and Quando Rondo, another prominent figure, were at the center of the dispute. The situation quickly escalated into a gunfight between the two sides, and the police had to step in with additional force to try and stop the violence. As the chaos unfolded, a disturbing video surfaced online showing the aftermath of the shooting. The footage revealed one of King Von's associates, a man named Louie, who had been severely injured in the crossfire. He was shown sitting on the ground in a dazed state after suffering a gunshot wound to the head. The video was unsettling, showing Louie's condition as he struggled to stay conscious. Around him, a few police officers were seen on the scene, apparently waiting for medical personnel to arrive to assist the wounded man. Witnesses at the scene reported that at least 3 police officers were present, and they appeared to be trying to keep Louie alert, tapping on his legs in an attempt to prevent him from losing consciousness. Despite their efforts, it was clear that Louie was in critical condition. He had been shot in the head during a foot chase that began when Quando Rondo turned onto Trinity Avenue. Louie had been part of the group pursuing Rondo on foot after the initial altercation in the parking lot of the hookah bar. The chase continued into the streets, and at some point during the pursuit, police officers opened fire, hitting Louie. Tragically, he was unable to survive his injuries. The situation was even more heartbreaking as it became apparent that Louie was left alone to die in the street, with some witnesses claiming that no one appeared to assist him in time to save his life. Louie's death has left many people questioning the events of that night, particularly why he was seemingly abandoned by those around him, including King Von, who had been a close friend. Fans and observers have been left to wonder what happened in the moments after the shooting, especially since Louie had been so loyal to Von and had risked his life to protect him during the conflict. The incident surrounding Louie's death continues to raise questions about the nature of the violence in the hip-hop world, especially in the realm of drill music, where rivalries can sometimes lead to tragic outcomes. While the police were quick to respond, the lack of immediate medical assistance and the shocking footage of Louie being left behind have raised concerns about how the situation was handled. The video of Louie's final moments has sparked outrage among many who believe that more should have been done to help him in the critical moments after he was shot. The fact that police officers seemed to simply wait for paramedics, rather than providing immediate assistance themselves, has led to further criticism of how the situation was managed. In the aftermath of the incident, many fans of King Von and those who knew Louie have expressed their anger and disbelief over how he was treated in his final moments. The tragedy has not only left a hole in the lives of those who knew Louie but has also shed light on the dangers faced by those involved in the world of drill music and gang-related violence. The entire incident is a grim reminder of how quickly things can escalate in these environments, and how often the consequences are deadly. Louie's tragic death, especially after he had been willing to take a bullet for King Von, has left fans and friends alike searching for answers about what went wrong that night. In conclusion, Louie's death highlights the devastating impact of violence in the rap world, and the brutal reality faced by those involved in this lifestyle. It also raises important questions about the responsibility of both law enforcement and the people involved in these altercations to ensure that no one is left to die alone on the streets. The unanswered questions surrounding Louie's death continue to haunt those who loved him and will likely remain a source of pain and anger for years to come. Louie's head injury was so serious that many people doubted he would survive. When footage of the aftermath of the shooting went viral, many Reddit users were shocked to see him still sitting up, despite the severity of his injury. One user commented, "Being conscious after that is some strong, tough shot," while another added, "How is he still able to move? Man, this is a walking miracle. WTFs." A third person remarked, "He was just trying to take someone's life, and he could have been in his grave." It seemed almost impossible that Louie was still alive after being shot in the head.
Some stuff that I remember from back in the day, and then like sometimes it'll be some stuff that just happened, like, and I'll be like, I don't remember.
Louie somehow managed to survive the gunshot. His recovery was far from easy. The damage to his head was so severe that he had to undergo several surgeries over the years in an attempt to fix the injuries. His life after the shooting was never the same, and the physical and emotional scars would stay with him forever. Sadly, Louie's story took another tragic turn on February 2, 2022. As the world moved into a new month, news of his death spread rapidly, leaving fans of the drill rap scene in shock. The announcement of his passing was made on social media, with the late King Von's followers expressing their grief. Von, who had been Louie's close friend, was among the first to share the news publicly. King Von's former girlfriend, Asian Da Brat, also posted about Louie's passing on social media. She shared a message that simply said, "R.I.P., paying her respects to her ex's friend." Fans and those close to Louie were deeply affected by his death, which felt like a huge loss to the rap community. According to YouTuber Trench News, Louie died due to complications related to the gunshot wound he suffered years earlier. The injury he sustained during the altercation outside the Monaco hookah bar had clearly taken a toll on him over time. His body never fully recovered from the trauma, and the damage eventually caught up with him. Although there has not been an official cause of death released, it's believed that the ongoing complications from the head injury ultimately led to his passing. Since the news of Louie's death broke, fans and followers of the drill rap scene have flooded social media with tributes and memories of him. Many have expressed their disbelief, as it seemed that Louie had been through so much already just to survive the initial gunshot. Some fans have even speculated that the trauma from the shooting may have had long-term effects on his health, leading to his untimely death. The theories surrounding Louie's death continue to circulate online, with people trying to make sense of what happened to the man who had been a loyal friend to King Von. It's clear that Louie's life had been filled with struggle and pain, but also with moments of survival and strength. He had been through so much and had fought to live, but in the end, the damage caused by that fateful gunshot wound was too much for him to overcome. Many of King Von's fans have paid tribute to Louie, remembering him as a true soldier who had been there for Von during difficult times. His death has left a void in the hearts of those who knew him, especially his close friends who have now lost someone who had been a major part of their lives. As the drill rap scene continues to deal with the loss of yet another life cut short by violence, Louie's death serves as a painful reminder of the dangers faced by those involved in this world. His story is one of survival against the odds, but also of the harsh realities that often come with that lifestyle. Louie's passing has sparked even more conversations about the violence in the drill music scene and the tragic toll it takes on those who get caught up in it. While his death has left many with unanswered questions, it has also served as a catalyst for reflection on the
And, everything, then I had people telling me stuff, so I was just putting stuff together and,
consequences of living a life surrounded by conflict and danger. In the wake of Louie's death, fans, friends, and loved ones continue to mourn the loss of a man who had survived so much, only to have his life cut short. His story is one that will remain in the minds of many, as they remember him not just for the pain he endured, but also for his strength and the loyalty he showed to those he cared about. As we continue to remember Louie and reflect on his life, it's clear that his passing is another tragic chapter in a story all too familiar in the drill music world. His death is a reminder of the fragile nature of life and the high cost of violence. Fans and those who knew Louie will continue to honor his memory, while others will no doubt continue to reflect on the lessons his life and death have taught us. Passed away early this morning, and he died from a similar wound to that of David Marshall, who died years after being shot in the head by police officers or another individual when he was with King V. While many individuals appear to agree with Trench's news allegations, other people have very different opinions regarding David Arkdale, the founder of the Black Disciples, who passed away on September 2, 1974, from renal failure brought on by an assault he had in 1968. Louie's cause of death: it seems that some online users think that phony drugs were the cause of his death. Several sources indicate that Louie overdosed on drugs. However, one former user summed up this line of thinking when they said, "Louie was on a lot of medications to help him deal with the after effects of his surgeries and the toll the whole ordeal has had on his body." After surviving a headshot, Louie died from a phony medication. Meanwhile, behind a Reddit post announcing Lou's death, discussions over the reason of his death changed course. The rapper died from a drug overdose, according to the majority of users, with some even claiming that he killed himself after years of agony. One user stated that chronic pain was like a dog being
So then I had to just look at it from a different point of view. And I just took it on the chin.
shot in the head. After rubbing my right eye for a long time, I developed trigeminal neuralgia. Head trauma combined with nerve damage is serious. I take benefits every day, but it doesn't make anything better. Rest in peace, Lou. But the discourse took a gloomy turn. Some users chose to blame King Vo, highlighting the ripple effects of King Von's actions the night he was killed. When one user suggested that Lou might have committed suicide, they claimed on Instagram that it was a suicide, but I thought people were in jail. Interestingly, several commenters attempted to justify the alleged suicide by pointing out the pain Louie has had to endure since the incident, as well as the shame he might feel from his disfigured look away from the cause of his death. V was the aggressor that night at the Atlanta nightclub, according to many accounts, and delivered the initial blow before the altercation turned into a full-fledged street battle and subsequent shooting. One fan summed everything up when they stated, "If you think about it, November 6, 2020, was a chain reaction that destroyed many lives." In addition to King Val, 2 other people were killed that night during the shootout. L. Tim, a friend of Kizo Rondo, was also shot that night and was later charged with King Von's murder, but the charges were later dropped. At least 2 more have been documented as a result of the incident in 2023 after it was determined that he acted in self-defense. But for many King Von fans, Louie's death has been the most agonizing for 2 reasons. First, his miraculous recovery from the headshot and subsequent full recovery inspired hope among the fan base, which has since been dashed. Second, and perhaps more importantly, he was a close friend and a devoted ally of King Von. Louie and V were friends. Fans became used to seeing the two together on tours during shows or just taking pictures together for the gram. On the night that V was killed, Louie was also present and, according to multiple sources, he was shot in the head. Even before the later performer started rapping, Louie claims that their bond grew even stronger as V's career advanced, and Louie wasn't lying as Von started to establish himself in the rap game. In an attempt to exact revenge on those he felt had wronged his best friend, King Von confronted Quando Rondo in the Hookah Lounge parking lot. According to reports, the 2 rappers had been embroiled in a bitter feud for months, and prior to that evening, Von and a number of members of rapper L Durk's OTF crew had warned that they would be beaten up if they ever saw Quando Rondo. Rondo took advantage of the threats and delivered the first blow, and before anyone realized what was going on, guns were firing from all directions. Sadly, Lou was shot in the head while attempting to protect his best friend, but despite being a key player and what happened that night, Louie has stated time and time again that he has no memory of what happened when the first shots were fired. In an interview with DJ Vlad in April 2024, Louie explained that when Tim fired the first shot, things took a turn for the worse when DJ Vlad tried to get more information about what happened and who did it. Louie reiterated that he didn't remember much of the fatal night, saying, "I mean, it just depends because it could be some stuff that I remember from back in the day and then sometimes it's some stuff that just happened and I'm I don't remember that." But one thing Lou remembered was seeing himself on a stretcher from that point on. With his life cut short after multiple surgeries, Lou's final days were tragically interrupted by his last recollection of being carried away on a stretcher. Lou spent 2 months in a coma, during which time King Von's death was not only confirmed but also his funeral was held. When Lou finally emerged from the coma, he was informed of King Von's passing. In an April 2024 interview with DJ Vlad, Louie said that the news was just too much for him to take in at the moment. He remarked, it was just so much I was just piecing everything together after being shot in the head, and everything made sense. But what hurt Lou the most was learning that he had missed his best friend's funeral because he had been in a coma for 2 months. What was even more frustrating was that he couldn't recall anything that happened that night, which made it extremely difficult for him to piece together how he ended up in the hospital with a disfigured head by the time he woke up. Out of the coma, he had previously had 2 operations, which he only learned about when he was aware, and DJ Vlad asked him how he felt after seeing the swelling and scars in the mirror. "I won't lie," Louie replied. "When I first saw it, I was like, man, but I had to consider the possibility that I might have died, so I had to consider it from a different angle. I just put it on the chair." Lou went on to have 8 more surgeries over the course of the following few months. When Louie woke up from his surgery, which took 17 hours to complete, he told DJ Vlad that at one point they nearly had to strap him down because he kept trying to check what was happening while the doctors operated on his head. As the interview went on, the topic shifted to the recovery process following his surgeries, and Lou revealed that he had to start learning a lot of things again, aside from having to learn how to walk. Once more, Lou had to work on his speech as well, and he even disclosed that, in spite of everything, some of his close friends and family members have commented that his voice changed following the procedures. Block Louie kept saying to DJ Vlad that he was grateful to be alive and didn't care what others thought of him or his looks. When Lou celebrated the conclusion of his rehabilitation on his Instagram page 2 months before 2-hour conversation, he was in the same grateful and rebellious state. Procedure by posting a photograph of oneself looking dapper for an occasion. In contrast to when he covered his head with a beanie hat during his interview with DJ Vlad, Louie is shown here sporting a black suit, red shirt, and a black bow tie. This shot reveals the hairless area of his head where the bullet was, along with his scars. He posted the picture with the words, "Happy it's over with #love you, Mom." His fans responded to the photo almost away, flooding. Words of encouragement and admiration were posted in the comment section, and one of them read, "You are so strong, Lou. Never delete this pic. This is your testimony." Another person wrote, "Hey man, it's good to see you smiling and being around people you love." However, after Louie's passing, some of his followers returned to the photo, and the message had changed from triumphs to mourning, which was particularly depressing. "This is heartbreaking, and I hope you both find peace." Another follower chose to express their annoyance and the user added, "I tell you what, they did him dirty on that head surgery," in response to the Louie physicians' criticism for what they saw to be a subpar job on Louie operation. Another follower made the decision to return to O Block. The reply said, "Losing the person who believed in you the most can be tough." Louie explained that losing his mother sometime in 2024 may have contributed to Lou's will to persevere. "I lost my mom on 2/20/THS, and it's been a battle with depression." Some reports claim that, after being shot in the head, Louie had a very difficult time. His medical bills were driving him into debt, and his friends abandoned him. At one point, he even reportedly started selling some of the items King Von had gotten for him at discount prices in order to keep himself afloat. However, Lou's mother was always there for him, so it's not surprising that her passing came as a huge blow to him, one that many of his supporters feel was simply too difficult for him to receive. Above, Louie seemed to announce his mother's death on Instagram on May 13, 2024, when he was spotted clutching a picture of his mother and wearing all black. He wrote something in the caption of the picture. Just 1 month after revealing the news of his mother's passing, Louie turned to Instagram to tell, "I miss you, Mama. It ain't going to be easy, but I'm trying." In the months that followed, Louie continued to honor his mother while expressing the anguish he felt from losing someone so close. This time, he posted a new photo of himself clutching the same image of his mother with the comment, "This really hurts, #love mama, appreciate parents." As if this suffering wasn't enough, Louie still had more drama in store for him in 2024. In October 2024, Louie was arrested in Cook County on an out-of-state warrant in Atlanta related to a 2019 murder charge against King Vo. Although he was released after posting bail, he was arrested again in November of the same year and charged with shooting Tim the night King Vo passed away. The case was still pending, and many of his supporters were unaware that he had already been freed from prison a second time when social media revealed his passing earlier this week, marking the terrible conclusion of Louie's journey. Let's examine some additional well-known people who, since that terrible night, have been enmeshed in a never-ending cycle of violence. For fans and his affiliates, losing King Vo outside of the hookah club was not what anybody had anticipated, and the trail of blood continues after his death. A fan tweeted, "Why hasn't Dirk slide for V yet? If it was the other way around, Von would have been slide on another occasion King Von's death." Tri-Utes flooded the timelines, calling for blood even though it was established that King Von's death was due to Quando Rondo's defense. These loyalists wanted him and everyone else involved to die online, raving about a revenge mission that asked Lil Durk to exact revenge on his friend and record label mate. In a shared post by Rap TV on March 22, 2022, Page on X asked his friend to slide for him. The message read, "Slide for me please." Although King Von was obviously not tweeting this because he was dead, it made one thing clear: Ice lovers wanted Durk to do something about his friend's death. The following year, Durk's slide for Von comments continued to pour in, with most fans asking why he had been slow to act. One fan tweeted, "It's been 3 years and he still ain't slide for Vo yet." In 2022, Wallow, co-host of the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, tried saying that it was completely tragic, but he insisted that King Von was the reason for his own death. How did you feel when you finally realized that King Von had died? I thought, damn, if BR and did that last night, he still would have been alive, which is how I felt, but I was also thinking the same things about the senseless killing. Quando Rondo told DJ Academics that the beef with King Von could have been avoided, and he believed that instead of making a bloodbath, money by managing it in a musical manner. Ultimately, however, everything we're discussing might have been handled very differently, even to the extent that a song and $34 million could have been released. Later, Louie, who was shot in the head, acknowledged that the feud between King V and Kizo Rondo was unimportant. The rapper first told DJ Vlad that he couldn't fully recall how the night ended, but he later said that he sometimes recalls little pieces of the negative. After receiving this information from O Block Louie, DJ Vlad shared it with FBG Butter in a separate interview. He added that the whole beef scenario started with King Von promising to exact revenge on Quando Rondo for trespassing. FBG agreed that King Von's relationship with Rondo started as a simple internet banner before spiraling out of control. 2 years have passed since King Von's death, and 2 individuals from both camps, including his friend O Block, are still involved. Quando and Louie, since Rondo's cousin passed away. Please click on the card that appears on the screen if you like this video and would want to see more thought-provoking material on current issues.